Hey guys, it's KJ from the Scariest Movie Ever channel on YouTube. I've been following this really unusual trend for the last few months, and I'm finding an alarming amount of stories coming out where people are literally having intercourse with spirits. And I know it sounds crazy, but just wait till you see what I have to show you. Like, this is a real thing, and it's happening more and more, specifically just over the last few months. But we have to keep in mind that this too is nothing new. Everything works in cycles. There's nothing new under the sun. There's an ancient history to this modern movement. And before I show you these examples, let's take a look at that history, and it takes us all the way back to Lilith. In some sources, she's described as a demon. In others, she's an icon who became one of the darkest deities of the pagans. Lilith is one of the oldest known female spirits of the world. In Jewish tradition, she's the most notorious demon, but in some other sources, she appears as the first woman created on earth. According to legend, God formed Lilith as the first woman. He did it in the same way as he created Adam. The only difference was that in place of pure dust, he also used filth and residue. Traditionally, Lilith means the night, and she is related to attributes connected with the spiritual aspects of sensuality and freedom, but also terror. In the Babylonian Talmud, Lilith was described as a dark spirit with an uncontrollable and dangerous sexuality. She is said to have fertilized herself with male sperm to create demons, and she's also believed to be the mother of hundreds of demons. She represents chaos, sexuality, and she has been said to have cast spells on people. Her legend is also related to the first stories about vampires. And it's really interesting. You can go through different periods of history, and once again we find this intermingling of demons with humans. You can even look to the story of Merlin the magician. Historian James Charles Wall explains that the church used the story of Lucifer and the rebel angels' fall from heaven to teach people the importance of recognizing Jesus as Christ by equating those who did not actively believe with outright deniers. The medievals then employed demons to impart moral and religious lessons, and Merlin is an example of this. 12th and 13th century authors depicted Merlin as a hybrid human demon who overcame his demonic half to demonstrate that defeating demonic temptations was possible. In 12th and 13th century romances, Merlin imparted a moral lesson by epitomizing how humans could defeat challenges presented by demons. Though this was not Merlin's sole purpose in any work, his portrayal as a human-demon hybrid physically and characteristically carries these undertones. So we've seen a little bit of the history of this. We know it exists. As I said, everything works in cycles. This is nothing new. And you see, in many ways, we've been programmed for this for many years. This is predictive programming. This is also social engineering. There is literally a multi-million-dollar industry that's promoting this idea. Some call it paranormal romance. And all of these stories are about humans intermingling with spirits. As it says here, if you like your love stories with a twist of magic, you'll want to check out our list of the best new paranormal romances. Featuring vampires, demons, dragons, and more, these delicious tales of otherworldly romance will delight you. So as you can see here, there is no shortage of these kinds of novels. And in fact, I see this as a form of mind control. And this goes far beyond the books. I mean, just think of all the movies and TV shows you've seen out there that have human beings intermingling with supernatural entities. As I said, there's many examples. I'll just show a few, but Twilight, the film and originally book series, is a prime example of, again, intermingling humans with supernatural creatures. Another example is the TV series True Blood. Once again promoting this idea of supernatural beings intermingling with human beings, having relations. with human beings. In his book, Hair of the Alien, Peter Corey claims to have had 2 alien abduction experiences. The primary encounter involved 2 naked, Nordic-like aliens who telepathically sexually assaulted Peter. He went public with physical evidence of the encounter, claiming to have a blonde hair strand from one of the aliens. What followed was the world's first DNA analysis of a biological sample from an alleged alien abduction experience. In what is probably China's best-known alien abduction report, farmer Meng Zhagao claims that in 2010 he was visited by a 9-foot-tall humanoid alien with 12 fingers and braided leg hair. He claims he went up into the hills to investigate what looked like a fallen aircraft when he was approached by the alien being. Meng and the alien had sex for 40 minutes while levitating in the air. The being returned that night to tell Meng she would bear his hybrid baby in 60 years. Police say Meng passed his lie detector test. Psychic Stephanie Fay claims to have out-of-this-world sex with octopus-looking aliens and cat people. Interestingly, or perhaps disturbingly is the right word, the cat imagery appears in another alien abduction story. Just this year, UK Labour councillor Simon Parkes claimed he had regular intercourse with an alien he referred to as the Cat Queen. Parkes says he fathered a baby named Zarka with the alien. Parkes also says that he himself is the son of an 8-foot-tall mother alien who has 8 fingers. And here's a recent story. Women in the UK are ditching their male lovers in favor of ghosts. In the past few days, not 1 but 2 women have come out to share their experiences of paranormal passion. A woman claims she had, quote, amazing sex with the ghost of a 19th century man, while another says she left her fiancé for a string of ectoplasmic encounters. Amethyst Realm, a 27-year-old spiritual guidance counselor from Bristol, said she will never go back to men because spirits leave her more satisfied. She claims to have had sexual encounters with 20 different ghosts since leaving her fiancé 10 years ago. She now hopes to find a ghostly lover to settle down with. During a bizarre appearance on ITV's This Morning, Amethyst described what it was like to have sex with a ghost and how she would entice paranormal beings into her home by wearing lingerie. She says it started off as an energy. I guess I got used to it. It became more physical and I started to feel pressure on my thighs, on my arms, as well as breath on the back of my neck, but I always felt safe. Amethyst's fiancé, who worked away from home for weeks at a time, discovered she was cheating when the ghost apparently showed its physical form to him, something which she herself had never seen. She says, I have got no interest in men now. I have done a bit of research into phantom pregnancies, and there are possibilities where you could have the ghost of a child within you, but people don't know how to carry it on to full term. Meanwhile, a woman in a remote Welsh cottage claims she had, quote, amazing sex with a ghost. Cyan Jameson, 26, says she had sex with a handsome man she had spotted in a historic painting. She had moved into a fully furnished 16th century house after breaking up with her boyfriend of 3 years. She says, everywhere I went reminded me of my ex. I needed a fresh start. Then she began having these erotic dreams. She says, a few months after I'd moved in, I woke early one morning to find a dark-haired, very good-looking young man lying next to me. He was fully clothed in a loose white shirt, a neck scarf, and old-fashioned breeches. He had kind of a shimmer to him, as if he was behind a fluttering voile curtain. I told myself I was dreaming and rolled away. But as I faced the wall, I slowly realized I wasn't asleep, and suddenly I was frozen with fear. I felt a hand on my waist, but the touch was strange, light and cool. She said she knew instinctively that he was a ghost and that she recognized him as a man in the painting. She said we started to make love. He was very gentle and stroked my body tenderly. During the lovemaking, I sensed all kinds of things about him, his name, where he lived. We didn't speak, but it was as if he was communicating with me telepathically. His body was so soft and light. So there's actually a term for this. It's called spectrophilia. which is derived from exophilia. It's a sexual paraphilia in which individuals derive sexual pleasure and arousal from extraterrestrial, robotic, supernatural, or otherwise non-human life forms. It's an interesting paragraph there on the bottom. It says one website featuring a short synopsis on spectrophilia claims that those afflicted with the condition will leave their windows open, so hopefully a ghost just might be floating on by, and suddenly get in the mood to ravage them. For those seeking sexual union with a ghost, however, the only solution is to seek out haunted mansions and hope for the best, or to try to coerce the ghost into experiencing the pleasures of the flesh again. No matter how you break that down, man, people are playing a very dangerous game here. And as I'd mentioned, you can find tons of stories on this subject. Once again, fed up with mortal men, women are having sex with ghosts. And here's yet another headline: crazy but true, having sex with a ghost is a real thing. To me, it's incredibly freaky how much the mainstream pushes this idea, literally opening yourself up to, quote, spirits. But we know if we go back in time and look at the ancient beginnings of this, we're dealing with succubus and incubus. So of course celebrities, quote-unquote celebrities, are going to be involved in this kind of stuff. This is all about idol worship. These are the new idols. To many people, these celebrities are gods. And this beast system understands this. So of course we'll see celebrities promoting sex with ghosts or with spiritual beings, supernatural beings. Lucy Liu is one of the celebrities that's had one of these encounters. She told Us Weekly that she had a sexual encounter with a ghost while trying to nap on her futon. She said some sort of spirit came down from God knows where and made love to me. It was sheer bliss. I felt everything. I climaxed, and then he floated away. It was almost like what might have happened to Mary. That's how it felt. Something came down and touched me, and now it watches over me. Wow, that's creepy. So she's comparing herself to Mother Mary. Former Playboy playmate and actress Anna Nicole Smith once told magazine FHM that she had repeatedly hooked up with a ghost. She said a ghost would crawl up my leg and have sex with me in an apartment a long time ago in Texas. I used to think it was my boyfriend, and one day I woke up and it wasn't. It was like a spirit, and whoa. I was freaked out about it, but then I was like, well, you know what? He's never hurt me, and he just gave me some amazing sex, so I guess I have no problem with it. Actress Paz de la Huerta takes it to a whole new level when she told the New York Times that she got it on with the ghost of Elvis on a visit to Graceland. She said, I went to his recording studio because sometimes the sensitive people feel him in this room, and I stood in this corner and I felt him. What can I say? I felt him touch me. So no surprise here, one of the biggest Illuminati tools that the industry has, or had. So it seems like she's not around quite as much anymore, but that's Kesha. During an appearance on Ryan Seacrest's radio show, she was talking about her song Supernatural, and she said it was inspired by actually having sex with a ghost. And then later on an appearance on the Conan O'Brien show, she continued her story saying that her and the ghost went to the bone zone. 1 year later on Jimmy Kimmel Live, she said that her vagina was haunted now. In 2012, rapper Ice-T's wife and former model Coco Austin claimed on the talk show Naughty But Nice that a perverted ghost had groped her. She said she was watching TV and was wearing a nightie, and she felt her dress moving up her leg. She looked down and got freaked out. She said, I pushed it down, I watched TV, and I felt it again, and I could see it being pulled up. And then I felt a guy breathing in my ear. Actress Natasha Blasek was in the film Paranormal Activity 2. And she claimed that after filming, she had 2 separate sexual encounters with a ghost. She said, at first I was very confused, then I decided to relax, and it was actually really pleasurable. I really enjoyed it, she noted. So these are all very real examples of people opening themselves up to these spiritual entities, these supernatural entities, to actually have intercourse with them. And again, this can be traced back to Lilith, And not just Lilith, this can actually be traced back to the fallen angels as well, trying to intermingle or breed with humanity. And for me, one of the most dangerous aspects of this modern movement now is how oftentimes I see stories like this where mainstream media just kind of jokes about it. They act like there's nothing serious here, there's really nothing to see. And speaking of which, this right here is one of the most ridiculous and I think dangerous stories I've seen on this subject, and it comes from BuzzFeed. No surprise there. We tried to have sex with ghosts, and here's what happened. But if you take a look at this, it's really insane. I mean, they go through their story here, but what they do is they actually explain to the viewers how to seduce a ghost. They give guidelines, they give steps, and they even try to explain how to summon a ghost to your room. Here's the setup. They went through all these steps, and then there's the summoning. But as you can see, they don't really seem to be taking this very seriously. Meanwhile, this is an extremely serious situation. So as we see, there's nothing new under the sun. Unfortunately, most people don't understand that concept. They won't look back in time, look back in history. They won't look for the source. And we know that all of this has a root in demonic activity. I believe there are wicked spirits all around, trying to find a way into our lives, a way into our minds. And when you consciously sit there and open yourself up to such things, they will rush in. This is a very dangerous practice. And even though the world seems to make fun of it, this is definitely nothing to laugh at. So anyway, I will leave you with that, guys. Thanks once again for checking out the video. I hope you're all doing well out there. Take care of yourselves, and I'll talk to you a little later.